What if I told you that you could build an entire house using materials that are already growing in your own backyard? No bank loan, no 30-year mortgage, no permit office making you wait 6 months just to pour a foundation? Just two ancient materials that builders have trusted for over 10,000 years. And right now, they're probably sitting outside your door waiting to be used. This method was almost completely forgotten. For decades, it was seen as primitive, something only poor communities used out of necessity, something modern society left behind on purpose. But architects and engineers are now going back to it, testing it in universities, running it through modern building codes. And by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why professionals are quietly switching back to something humans figured out thousands of years before concrete even existed. Let's go back to where it all started. Picture a small village centuries ago. No hardware stores, no trucks delivering lumber, just people, land, and time. They'd walk to the nearest bamboo grove, cut what they needed, and mix soil, straw, and water into something called cob, a natural blend that hardens almost like stone. Neighbors would show up to help because raising walls by hand was easier as a community than alone, and children would run around playing in the leftover mud while the adults worked. Within weeks, not months, a family would have walls thick enough to stay cool in summer and warm in winter. No electricity bills fighting the weather, no debt, just a home built from the ground they stood on. And here's the part that surprises most people. Some of those houses are still standing today, hundreds of years later, while modern buildings from the 1970s are already being torn down. If content like this is useful to you, hit subscribe now. It really helps this channel keep growing. But here's the problem we're facing today. Today, building a home the conventional way can easily cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. Lumber prices spike overnight, sometimes doubling in just a few months. Concrete has a massive carbon footprint, and it's one of the most polluting materials on the planet to produce. Most materials are shipped in from factories hundreds of miles away, adding cost, fuel, and delays at every single step. Then come the permits, the inspections, the contractors who quote one price and deliver another. For most people, especially anyone dreaming of a homestead or an off-grid life, that price tag alone kills the dream before it even starts. You start researching, you get excited, and then reality hits. The average cost per square foot makes the whole idea feel completely out of reach. And it's not just the money that suffers. It's not only about the money. Conventional construction materials often trap heat or moisture, driving up energy bills year after year, forcing your air conditioner and heater to fight a battle they can never fully win. Many are packed with synthetic chemicals that slowly off-gas into the air you breathe every single day, in the one place that's supposed to feel the safest. And once that debt is signed, most people spend decades working just to pay off walls and a roof. Walls that, ironically, won't even last as long as a cob house built by hand centuries ago, using nothing more than dirt and straw. So what's the alternative? This is where it gets interesting. This is exactly why natural building materials are having a comeback. Bamboo is one of the fastest growing plants on Earth. Some species grow almost 3 feet in a single day, and pound for pound, its tensile strength actually rivals steel, which is why engineers keep coming back to it. Architects have even used it to build bridges and multi-story structures that pass modern engineering standards. Cob, on the other hand, is simply a mix of subsoil, sand, straw, and water, shaped by hand into thick, load-bearing walls. Together, they create structures that are fire-resistant, naturally insulated, and can be built using materials sourced from the land itself, often at a fraction of the cost of a conventional build. Builders and engineers researching sustainable architecture are now studying these exact techniques, not because they're trendy, but because the numbers and the durability actually hold up. Now, let's talk about how this actually works in practice. If you're curious how a build like this actually starts, here's the general process. First, the foundation. Even natural builders use a stone or gravel base because cob and bamboo both need to stay away from direct ground moisture. That's non-negotiable, no matter how natural the rest of the build is. Second, the bamboo framework goes up, forming the skeleton of the structure. Builders usually treat the bamboo first, either with a natural borax solution or by curing it slowly over smoke to protect it from insects and rot before it ever holds weight. This is where the wall's shape and strength come from. Third, the cob mixture is prepared, usually a ratio of about 1 part clay-rich subsoil, 2 to 3 parts sand, and straw for tensile strength. Most experienced builders test their local soil first, since every plot of land has a slightly different composition. It's mixed by foot or with a tarp, almost like kneading dough at a massive scale. And yes, that means bare feet in the mud is actually part of the traditional process. Fourth, the cob is applied by hand in layers, called lifts, each one left to dry slightly before the next goes on. This is slow work, but it's also where a lot of natural builders say the process becomes almost meditative, even therapeutic. Finally, a natural plaster or lime wash seals the walls, protecting them from rain while still letting the structure breathe. And here's a detail most tutorials skip. Breathability is actually the secret. Unlike concrete, cob walls let moisture pass through instead of trapping it, which is a big part of why they last so incredibly long. But there's a reason so many first builds fail, and it's not what you'd expect. The number one mistake? Skipping the foundation, or making it too short. If moisture wicks up into the cob from the ground, the wall can weaken from the inside over years, even if it looks perfectly fine on the surface. The second mistake is using the wrong soil mix. Too much clay and the walls crack as they dry. Too much sand and they crumble apart in your hands. Most beginners get this wrong on their first attempt, which is actually completely normal, even expected. Professional natural builders always test small sample bricks before committing to an entire wall, letting each one dry for a few days to check for cracks. And the third mistake is rushing the drying process. Cob needs time, sometimes weeks between lifts, and forcing it to dry too fast in direct sun can cause deep cracking that's extremely difficult and sometimes impossible to fix later. And here's something that might completely change how you see this technique. Here's something most people don't know. In Devon, England, there are tens of thousands of cob homes still standing, many continuously lived in for over 500 years, all documented by historians. The same technique, known as bauge in France, has kept homes standing there for centuries too. Some have survived wars, floods, and centuries of weather, with walls made from nothing more than dirt, straw, and water shaped by human hands. No steel reinforcement, no modern sealant, just time, patience, and a technique that was never actually broken. So if this technique is so durable and so much cheaper, why did we ever stop using it? The truth is, natural building didn't disappear because it stopped working. It disappeared because it couldn't be mass-produced or sold at scale the way concrete and steel could. There was no company profiting from dirt someone dug up in their own backyard, and no industry built around teaching people to do it themselves for free. It simply wasn't marketable, even though in many ways it outperforms what replaced it. That's the real reason this method almost vanished, and it's also exactly why it's starting to come back now, quietly. One homestead, one backyard, one wall at a time. So if any of this got you curious, here's my question for you. If you were starting from scratch, would you trust bamboo and cob over concrete and steel? Or does that still sound a little too wild? Tell me in the comments. I actually read every single one. And if you want to keep exploring techniques like this, real, tested methods people used long before modern construction took over, hit subscribe. We're covering more of these ancient techniques soon, and trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next.